Think about your phone getting warm in your hand after like a long video call, or maybe
Yeah.
the sound of a data center, right? All those servers um, working away, constantly fighting off the heat they generate.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Exactly. Whether it's the little device in your pocket or these
hmm
huge energy systems powering our cities, heat is this quiet, constant enemy.
It really is. Degrades things, reduces efficiency.
Yeah, it shortens lifespans, hits efficiency, and can uh, basically stop even really robust tech in its tracks.
Absolutely.
So today we're doing a deep dive into a really ingenious solution to this exact problem. We're looking at a recent patent, actually,
Mm.
from a major player in renewable energy, and it promises to keep these critical systems cool, protected, and, working properly, even when conditions get tough.
That's right. Our mission today really is to unpack this clever design. We want to understand the core ideas behind it and explore how it helps ensure the reliability, the longevity of the backbone of our renewable energy future. It's more than just cooling, it's about resilience.
Making green energy tough enough for the real world.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's start with the company, the innovators behind the solution. It's Sungrow Power Supply Co., Ltd.,
Right.
based in Hefei, China.
Right, Sungrow.
Now, maybe you haven't heard the name directly, but if you're anywhere near the solar power or energy storage world, well, they're a huge deal.
Oh, absolutely. Sungrow isn't just like a company in renewables, they're a foundational player, a giant.
Right.
Their focus is really on these high-power energy storage converters and also photovoltaic, solar power generation systems.
Which is exactly what this patent is about.
Precisely. So when we look at this patent, it's not just a technical drawing, it's really a window into their strategy. It shows how Sungrow is committed to tackling some of the really tough, persistent engineering challenges in the renewable sector. It's a very deliberate move to make their products, and by extension, the grid, more reliable, more robust.
So they're thinking long term,
Yeah.
not just building parts, but engineering for durability.
That's exactly it. And when you talk about engineering for the long haul, heat is right at the top of the list of challenges, especially for modern electronics.
Especially in those demanding areas, I imagine.
Yes, especially in things like grid-scale energy storage, those big converter stations or large solar farms. These systems are pushed hard.
Constantly.
Yeah. And the core problem, it comes from a couple of things stacking up. First, you've got this relentless push for more power density.
Right. Packing more power into smaller boxes.
Exactly. Demand for energy storage and renewables is soaring, so devices get smaller but way more powerful.
Right.
You're trying to cram megawatts of power into spaces that may be used to handle kilowatts. That naturally creates intense, concentrated heat in a small space. It's a real thermal challenge.
Like trying to cool a furnace with a tiny fan.
Pretty much. And then it's not just the heat the electronics make themselves.
Right. They live outside often.
Exactly. That's the dual threat idea. Heat comes from inside, from the components working hard, and from the outside environment. Think about a solar inverter, maybe sitting out in a desert. It's getting baked by the sun. Ambient temperatures can go way over 50 Celsius.
Wow.
Plus, you've got fine dust, maybe high humidity near the coast, even corrosive salt spray. These aren't just adding heat. They bring contaminants that can just wreck sensitive electronics. It's a really tough place to operate.
Okay, so what actually happens then? When these systems can't get rid of that heat properly, what are the real consequences? It's not just getting warm, is it?
Oh, no, far from it. The impacts are, frankly, severe and costly. Overheating leads straight to lower efficiency.
So less power out for the same impact.
Which, exactly, lost revenue. But beyond that, and maybe more critical, it causes direct damage to the components themselves.
Like frying them.
Essentially, yeah. You can get thermal runaway, where rising heat causes irreversible damage to the semiconductors, capacitors, circuit boards.
Okay.
This shows up as systems failing sometimes, or completely shutting down. And maybe worst of all, it drastically cuts the lifespan of the equipment.
Right.
There's this rule of thumb in electronics, the 10 degrees Celsius rule. For every 10 degrees C above the rated maximum temp, the life of some parts can basically be cut in half.
Halved. That's huge for something meant to last decades.
It's massive. Think about a solar farm meant to run for 20, 25 years. If you can extend an inverter's life just a little bit by keeping it cooler, that's potentially millions saved in replacements and gained in uptime. It's like running a car engine constantly at redline. It just won't last.
Okay, I see the scale of the problem now.
And that's why the old ways of cooling, just basic fans blowing outside air or simple filters, they just aren't enough anymore.
Right. They can't properly protect these complex, expensive systems from both the intense heat they generate and those really harsh external conditions. It's a fundamental reliability issue.
So good cooling and protection aren't just nice features. They're absolutely vital. The whole economics of renewable energy kind of hinges on this.
It really does. Without reliable, long-lasting equipment, clean energy becomes more expensive, less dependable. This kind of engineering is crucial.
Yeah, that really puts it into perspective. Okay, so let's unpack Sungrow's solution now. We're looking at this specific U.S. patent, US 225027896A1, published July 10th, 2025. And it describes a cabinet, right? Special box for these energy converters and solar systems.
Exactly, a highly specialized cabinet. And the real genius here is in the architecture, the internal structure of this cabinet.
Yeah.
So imagine this studi outer box. The key thing is an internal wall, a separating wall, that cleverly divides the inside into two completely separate independent zones or cavities. That's the first big innovation, this dual cavity design.
Two zones inside one box. Interesting. Yeah. So first, you have what the patent calls the direct ventilation cavity. Think of this as an outer channel.
Okay.
It lets outside airflow straight through the cabinet, comes in an inlet, goes out an outlet. Its job is to help get rid of general heat, maybe heat soaking in from the sun, and you can put fans in there to really push the air through.
Right.
But crucially, this airflow path is totally separate from where the actual electronics live. It's like an outer air wash.
Got it. So what's the other zone?
The other zone is the electronic cavity.
Oh.
This is the protected inner sanctum, basically.
The clean room.
Kind of, yeah. It's sealed off. This is where all the sensitive, expensive electronic components, the brains and muscle of the system actually sit. The whole point is that it's independent from that direct ventilation path, which means it's shielded from all that nasty stuff outside, the dust, the moisture, the salt spray. Protected.
Okay, that makes perfect sense for protecting the components, keeping them clean and dry for longer life.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. But wait, those electronics, they're the ones generating all the internal heat. Right.
They are. A lot of it.
So if the outside air isn't blowing directly on them,
Yeah.
how do they cool down? How does their heat get out of that sealed box?
Right. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And this is where the second major innovation comes in, and it's really quite elegant. They use a specialized heat exchanger.
Okay, not just a fan, a heat exchanger.
Exactly. Think of it less like a fan blowing air and more like a thermal bridge. It's the gateway for heat to escape that sealed electronic cavity, but without letting any contaminants in.
How does it do that?
Well, this heat exchanger is positioned strategically within the cabinet structure, and it's designed with two completely separate internal channels, or loops, that don't mix air.
Okay, two separate paths within the exchanger.
Correct. One channel, let's call it the external loop, connects to the outside environment. Air from that direct ventilation cavity can flow through it, allowing heat to be carried away outside.
Right, so that loop talks to the outside world.
Yes. And the other channel, the internal loop, is connected directly to the sealed electronic cavity. The air inside the protected zone flows through this second loop.
Ah, I think I see. It's like a car radiator, but for air.
That's a fantastic analogy, yes. The internal air, carrying heat from the electronics, flows through its own sealed loop in the heat exchanger.
Okay.
The heat passes through the walls of the exchanger, which are made of highly conductive material, into the other loop, the external one.
And then the outside air flowing through that external loop just carries the heat away.
Precisely. So the heat gets out, but the dirty outside air never mixes with the clean inside air. It's indirect cooling, and it keeps the sensitive stuff completely isolated.
While still getting rid of the dangerous heat.
Clever. Very clever. And to make sure that heat gets to the exchanger efficiently from all the components inside the sealed cavity.
More fans.
Yeah.
Internal ones this time.
Exactly. Internal fans circulate the air within the electronic cavity. They make sure hot air is constantly moved away from the components and directed through the internal loop of the heat exchanger.
So it's an active internal circulation.
Yes. And the patent even shows different ways this internal airflow can be managed, sometimes flowing straight through, sometimes recirculating to really optimize heat transfer, depending on how hard the system is working or what the outside conditions are like. It's adaptable.
Wow, that is elegant. So this whole dual-layer approach, it means the critical electronics are both efficiently cooled and really well protected from everything the outside world can throw at them. Dust, rain, humidity, salt.
All of it. It's a complete defense.
A comprehensive thermal management and protection strategy rolled into one.
It is. And the impact, it's significant. This design leads directly to better reliability, fewer failures.
Which means less maintenance, right? Because stuff isn't getting gummed up or cooked.
Exactly. Reduced maintenance needs. And crucially, a much longer operational life for these very expensive energy storage and solar power systems.
That must make a huge difference economically.
Absolutely. In an industry where uptime and how long your equipment lasts are directly tied to profit and your return on investment, this kind of smart thermal design isn't just a detail, it's a real competitive edge. It's what helps make large-scale renewables viable.
It really enables them.
Yeah.
And let's give credit where it's due. The inventors listed are Hao Zhe Chang, Huai Yu, and Long Sheng Yan. That's some seriously smart engineering.
Absolutely. So if we boil it down, the two main takeaways from looking at the Sungrow patent are, first, that clever dual-cavity design for really robust protection.
The box within a box.
Right. And second, that ingenious indirect heat exchange system. It gives you efficient cooling without compromising the protection. That combination is key.
And when you think bigger picture, this isn't just about one company's cabinet. It's about making the whole renewable energy infrastructure, solar storage, fundamentally more reliable, tougher.
More dependable.
Yeah, dependable. And that helps make it more widespread, right? Innovations like this that tackle these basic challenges of just surviving in the real world. They're what really let these technologies scale up and work everywhere, even in really tough climates.
It really does enable that transition. And, this raises a broader question, something to think about. Well, as our world relies more and more on complex, high-power electronics, and they're operating in all sorts of challenging places, smart city sensors in hot cities, advanced farming tech out in dusty fields, maybe even offshore wind turbines getting blasted with salt spray.
Right. Electronics are everywhere now, often in harsh spots.
Exactly. So how might this core principle we've seen here, this idea of separated but connected cooling, keeping things isolated but still managing heat effectively, how might that inspire solutions for other critical technologies? What other areas could use this kind of robust, indirect approach to make sure they last longer and perform better, especially as power demands keep rising?
That's a really interesting thought. Applying that protective indirect cooling idea beyond just solar and storage.
It's a fundamental engineering challenge with potentially wide applications. This patent shows one really compelling way forward.